Next, to the very latest on what is seen as a pivotal election in Brazil. Lula, as he's known, the country's former president, set to return to power after winning the country's runoff vote. That is the jubilant scene in Rio, one happening in cities right across the country. Ecstatic Lula supporters cheering his remarkable political comeback. 4 years ago, he was banned from politics, imprisoned on a corruption charge that was later annulled. And now his victory is being celebrated as a triumph for Brazil's democracy. Lula's win is also seen as a rebuke to the far-right politics of incumbent President Jair Bolsonaro. He's promising, quote, an egalitarian Brazil that prioritizes help for the nation's less privileged. His win returns a progressive voice to the international stage from one of the world's largest democracies. Canada among the first countries to acknowledge Lula's win. Here it was, a message from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau posting not long after the results came in. And U.S. President Joe Biden also sending his congratulations. Now, Biden's message calls the election free, fair, and credible. French President Emmanuel Macron, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak also wasting no time acknowledging Lula's win. Let us go live now to Rio and to Will Denslow and begin, if you would, Will, with Lula's win. It was a bitter, it was a divisive campaign, and it leads the country now sharply divided. Tell us about the victory and what Lula is now promising to do.
Well, Heather, when Lula left office back in 2010, he had an approval rating of nearly 90%. Now, as president-elect over a decade later, he faces a far more divided, far more polarized country than the one he left all those years ago during his last term as president. Now, during his election victory speech, Lula very much played on those divisions. He said that he's not here to rule two Brazils. He said that he will govern over the 215 million Brazilians, regardless of whether they voted for him or for his opponent, Jair Bolsonaro. Now, during his speech, he also laid out a few of his campaign pledges. He said that he wanted to do more to eliminate hunger. He also said that discrimination was a key issue that he wanted to tackle. He also had a dig at Jair Bolsonaro. He said that Brazil had become a pariah in the eyes of many world leaders. He says that when he takes over in the new year, he'll work to end that.
It was interesting, Will, as I was just mentioning, how quickly those world leaders have moved to issue statements to acknowledge that Lula victory. And some are seeing that as reflecting concerns that Jair Bolsonaro would not, in fact, accept the results. He indicated he was very concerned about the fairness of the election. What have we heard from him? Has he conceded yet?
Well, that's absolutely right, Heather, and very interesting. Looking at some comments from a few supporters of former President Donald Trump on social media while the elections were going, saying that Bolsonaro should declare victory. Some even saying that Bolsonaro should have taken a course that Trump didn't do last US election and do that to declare victory before it had been officially called. So some interesting parallels there, certainly. Now, Bolsonaro did not go down that route. In fact, it's been really radio silence from Bolsonaro's team so far. Of course, during the election campaign, he repeatedly questioned the integrity of the elections. He did somewhat soften that tone, though, on Friday in the final debate between Lula and Bolsonaro. He said that he would accept the results of the election if they were deemed to be clear and transparent. But as things stand here in Brazil, still no word from the current president. Heather?
Will, thank you very much. That's Will Denslow live in Rio this morning.